Hey guys, today we're going to paint the most adorable little canvas. It's a 6x6 gallery wrapped canvas. We are painting a sunset with a cute little boat. The majority of the paint that I'm using during this project is Liquitex professional grade acrylic paint. It's not the student grade Liquitex. Some of it is Dick Blick because I realized there was a blue that I didn't have. Now the colors that I'm starting out with is cerulean blue, cad yellow medium, and cad red medium, and emerald green. So the Blick paint is phthalo blue paint, and I ran out of brown in the Liquitex, so I grabbed a craft paint that I'm using right now, and it's apple barrel chestnut. I also have just plain old brown, so when I first started the painting, that's what I'm using is the craft paint, the brown, the chestnut, and the yellow and white, and I'm blending that to come up with the beach. The beach color is yellow and white. I added yellow to the brown, and as you can see, I'm mixing it using some water to blend the bottom of my canvas. Now this is a gallery wrap canvas, so what I'm doing is I'm painting the bottom first, so then I can go in and I'm using a hair dryer to dry the bottom, so then I'm able to pick it up and move it around and not get paint all over. It looks like I added a little bit of red to the paint because it has more orange on the bottom. So then the next thing I decided to do is, that's the thing about a painting. You can start anywhere you want to. It really doesn't matter. And I started with the tree. I grabbed the blue and the yellow and created a green. So right now I want to talk to you briefly about brushes. The one that I'm using is a flat number 6 Master's Touch from Hobby Lobby. I like using flat brushes because if they are high enough quality, you can get a very good straight line with it. Here's an image of some of the brushes that I use when I paint with acrylic paint. So the next step is I decided to paint the sun like a bright red, so then I could do orange and yellow for the streaks in the background. I usually listen to some really fun music while I'm painting, but with all of the copyright laws, I can't let you hear what I'm listening to, which is kind of sad. But while I already had red on my brush, I decided to do the sail red and white. So that's what I'm doing. So the next thing I'm working on is I'm taking the blue and the white and the green, and I'm mixing it to make that teal color for the water. I have decided to make the water more of a teal color. So now I'm going to talk to you about water. The deeper the water is, the more blue and purple it becomes. It's super deep, then it's going to be super blue, navy color. So the closer that water is to the beach, the more teal it's going to be, because most beaches have like a yellow sand underneath it, which changes the color. If you look at water in a glass, it doesn't have any color at all. And water only reflects what is above it or around it. So that's why if there's a blue sky, the water is blue. If there's a gray sky, the water is gray. It's only the color of what it's reflecting. So in my painting, I'm going to say we have a blue sky, and so that's why the water is blue. Now, the deeper the water gets, the bluer and almost navy, sometimes it's like a deep purple because it's super deep. And so the closer it gets to the beach, then the lighter it gets, not just with blue, but sometimes it can reflect the sand underneath, which when you take yellow and blue and mix it together, it's more of a teal color. So that's why I'm painting the water closest to the beach teal, and as it goes toward the sun, which is, it will get deeper, it's going to get bluer, and I'm even putting red in it to make it more of a deep purple. Don't forget to paint on the side. Remember, this is a gallery wrapped canvas. It is a square, so when you have this kind of canvas, you want to paint on all sides. What's really cool about these little square canvases are you don't have to frame them. You don't have to do anything other than paint them. You can set them on a shelf. You can set them on a table. You can hang them up if you want to. They're really small, but they work perfect in a very small area if you want to do that. And as the water flows over the sand, it mixes with the sand and actually changes color. So it's not that deep blue color. It's being mixed up, and it is becomes more of a teal color. I even decided to put a little bit of the sand color. I kind of mixed it in for the water that is closest to the sand. So once I started looking at the sun, I thought maybe it was too red. I did add a little more orange to it. And then I took that orange and added some yellow, and I started working on the streaks that are going to come out from, you know, the sun. And so every other one is going to be orange and every other one's going to be yellow. So anyway, I just started painting that in, and always have to remember to paint on all the different sides and carry the line, whatever the line is for the streaks for the sun. Make sure you carry it over to the sides of to each one of the sides of the canvas. And then I went in with yellow and added yellow and blended while the orange is still wet. You're blending this yellow with the orange, kind of blended in. Something I do along the way is I take out a hair dryer and I dry my painting, and it just makes it easier to hold it if part of it is dry. Now if I lift it up and I paint one side of it, and then I lift it up and paint the other side without drying it, then the paint's going to smear. If I get it on the paper, it's going to smear and make a mess. So I don't want that to happen either, right? And so, and I'm just going around. When I paint around whatever else is there, like the sail or the palm tree or whatever it is that I'm working on. So right now I'm going to continue to add more yellow to the background, you know, of the sun. And basically my goal is to have orange, and then I want it to blend into yellow. And then once I have done all of that, I realized that I thought the yellow should be lighter. And so I went in and added white. I blended from orange to yellow to a yellow that was a little lighter. And that's just, you know, when you're painting, that's what happens is you have in your mind what you want to do, and then sometimes it changes. And there is nothing wrong with that. Remember, this is your painting. You get to do whatever you want. You can make it look any way you want. So just to let you know, there are times when I'm going to speed up the video just a little bit because it can be really boring watching me paint. I'm hoping you're painting with me, but sometimes people just watch the video and don't actually paint with me. So in this video, I am going to speed it up for a little bit here or there while I'm painting. Now you can see why I painted the bottom of the canvas first and got out my hair dryer and dried it really good. So now I can hold it in my hand and paint all the way around to the back of this gallery wrap canvas with all the different colors. And I'm blending from orange to yellow, and very soon I'm going to realize I need to add white, and I do end up adding a little bit of white to the yellow to make it a lighter yellow. Okay guys, don't forget to subscribe. If you subscribe, you'll never miss another one of the videos. Now that I'm really looking at my painting, I've got all the yellow on there, I realize that I think that the sand should be just a little bit more browned. So I am adding a little bit of brown to the sand before I work on. So now I'm working on the palm tree again. I think that it needs some contrast. I'm adding a darker green to the bottom of the leaves. And then once I've added more of the darker green, I'm going to go back, and remember the sun is shining on the palm tree, so I'm going to pick up yellow, and I'm adding yellow to the top of my palm fronds, I guess, if you want to call them, the top of the tree, just to give it some more contrast and give it a highlight and a shadow. And every once in a while, I'll pick up my hair dryer and dry my painting because it gets kind of goopy because there's too much paint on there. It needs to be dry. That's what's so incredible about acrylic paint and painting with acrylic paint is that it dries really quickly. So you can, get out the hair dryer, dry your painting, and then add on top of whatever you have on your painting. If this was oil painting, we would have to wait a couple of days for it to dry in order to paint on top of it. So that's what I love about acrylic paint is it's a faster process painting an acrylic painting versus an oil painting. I'm picking up a smaller paintbrush to do even more detail. At any time during the painting you feel like the paintbrush is too large and you want something smaller. Remember, this is a little 6x6 canvas. Feel free to go find a smaller paintbrush so you can do more detail. So at this point, I'm going to go in and put more detail into the sails of the sailboat. I'm adding more detail. I'm adding a little contrast where the red isn't just one solid red color. I'm adding a little bit of orange to one side of it and then the darker red on the other side. For me, it's the left-hand side is darker because it's going into the sun, so I'm kind of thinking that the orange should be a little lighter that's closer to the sun. So now I'm just kind of figuring out what kind of details do I want to add. So once I have dried my canvas, I'm going back in with my yellow and my orange and putting in this reflected sun is going to be reflecting into the water. Remember, water is clear and it reflects whatever is next to it. So the sun is shining down on the water. There's probably waves in the water, and that's why you put in streaks. The streaks are the reflection of the sun in the water, and the reflection goes all the way from the horizontal line all the way up to the beach. So I didn't have this in the original drawing, but I decided that the sand needed something, and I thought it'd be fun to add some flowers. So what I did was I took a spare palette, which is basically a paper plate, and I practiced painting the flowers on the paper plate before I went to my painting. A few other things that I'm going to add. I added flowers to my painting. I'm running out of space on the front of this tiny little square painting, so I'm adding flowers to the side of my painting because after all, it is a three-dimensional object. I need to hit it with the hairdryer again so then I can continue to paint on those flowers. All right, and then once I have gotten the hairdryer out and I have dried my painting all over, I mean, you could wait until the next day if you don't have a hairdryer, but once it's completely dry, we go back in with the details. And the way I'm doing the details in this style of painting is I'm going in with a permanent marker. This is a Sharpie marker. It is a super duper thin, skinny tip. I think it's called extra fine, maybe an extra fine point, as you can tell. And I'm going in and I'm adding a bunch of details that wouldn't normally show up unless you had an itty bitty tiny paintbrush. Instead, I'm going in with a marker to add details to the flowers, to add details to the sun and the boat and the palm tree. And this way I can put in wiggly lines if I want to. It kind of looks cartoony, but you know, this style of art I absolutely love. And I don't know, that's who I am. I've always loved cartoony looking art and design. And you know, I used to be a video game designer and I always wanted to do cartoony stuff. At Sunny Art Academy, I have a gallery where I show off all of the art that is sent to me from my students. So I would love to see what you guys come up with. So don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to go to Sunny Art Academy and send me a note. I hope you enjoyed painting this little square canvas. And I'd love to see what you come up with. So go to my website, send me an email. I would love to show off all the art, all of the people that watch my videos. I want to show off all of your art. If you have any questions, please let me know in the comments below here on YouTube. And if you have any other ideas of what you want to learn to paint or draw, please tell me what they are, and I will try to hop right on that. And remember at the very end here, make sure that you sign your masterpiece, because It's so important to sign your painting. And I had so much fun painting this painting, and I hope you had fun painting the painting too. And I will see you in the next video.